In a particular video that I use one certain time for my broadcast, if you guys can remember, I think that was in 2022, and most of you have seen that video, in different places, on different platforms. And that video was about Mazi Nnamdi Kanu after he was released in 2015 or 2017 or so, after his ordeal with the Nigeria government when he was arrested in Lagos 2015, and then after later on bailed. And in that particular video, he was saying to the people seated, IPOB members in a particular meeting, he was saying to them that any day you wake up and hear that Nigeria government has arrested me, burn down Nigeria. Now, some of you might ask the question, what did Mazi Nnamdi Kanu mean by burn down Nigeria? Of course, he didn't expect you. He didn't expect you, or it cannot mean that you should just go and get fuel or get anything and start burning everywhere. Burn down Nigeria is metaphoric to crumbling the system. Crumbling the system. Now, don't forget that whenever there is a particular directive from a leader, this also happened in the time of Yeshua Mashiach, that's Jesus. When Jesus said, I will build my church, when Jesus began to go around doing good and miracles, when Peter and the apostles also went along the line of the footsteps of Christ, they met people like Elymas and other people who bailed Jesus, and other people who wanted also, who began to institute things like Stoicism and other kind of criminal cults using the doctrine of Christ. Now, till date, we have so many cults that have emanated from the concept of Christ's redemptive work he came to do on the cross, including the British Empire, redesigned it, and brought it as a tool of slavery. Everything Christ did that was just, and that was of God, and that was of pure motive, humans have a way of anytime finding a clear motive and a pure motive, have a way of capitalizing on it and using it for their own personal agenda. That does not make the original plan and program false. That only means that it has been hijacked and utilized by other people who want to use it as a means. Today we have, when Jesus began the issue of the disciples gathering and worshiping and waiting at the upper room and receiving the Holy Ghost and then going around to do the work of the kingdom, he never intended that people come together to start collecting monies from people to enrich themselves. When Peter and the apostles began the early church and they began to meet in houses with the church that is in their houses, going from one place, setting up a place of worship, contributing and sharing among the poor, that was how the church began. That was how they operated. They were not collecting tithes and all of that. They collected offerings, free will gifts, and people decided, we have poor amongst us, we need to get to meet the needs of this poor. They sell their properties, they sell their goods, they gather them. Everybody knows how much they get. They share them equally amongst themselves. But today, what we have is, we find a situation where, they have set tithing as a law because they must make sure a part of your income comes to them every month. That puts you under their control. So religiously, they have put you under bondage. 2, there was a time the Roman Empire didn't want people to look at the Bible. The Bible was sacred and you are not mandated to look at it, only the priests, because they wanted to keep information from you so that you don't have the information that you need to understand and work in knowledge. So Christianity became a religious tool of control. The Roman Empire, when it saw that the Christianity was spreading far in the empire and wide and all over Israel and other parts of the world, in Rome and other places, places by Paul's ministry and other apostles. Suddenly they adopted Christianity as organized religion under Constantine, when he adopted it as organized religion and formally endorsed Christianity as part of worship, and then fused it with their own control mechanism. The use of the penances, the relics, the sign of the cross, the venerations, the confession to priests, the use of the chaplets, and all of this stuff were not part of Christian worship, but were introduced into Christianity so that they could control those people who call themselves Christians. That is how today we have so many people bound to images they call Mary, and they will tell you they are not worshiping, they are honoring senselessness, because religiously they have been adjusted. So when you find something being said at a particular time by people whom God have ordained for a particular cause, there will always be people who would rise up and pollute it or use it for their own personal gains. Just like we have the man in Finland, the criminal in Finland, just like we have some members of the DOS who are trying to manipulate the people to be on their side because of their initial plan and arrangement that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu will not survive the situation he is in. That brings me to the discussion today. I want to welcome you, please, to this, and also I want to thank you for clicking on this video. The last video I did, I tried to remind you that, that I initially appealed to you to become very objective and get yourself disconnected emotionally from anything you think, any attachment you have to anybody whom you see as, oh, he's doing well, he's the one, they are working for freedom, they are doing their work. No, detach your attachment, detach your emotion from them right now, because for you to really reason, reason based on what Mazi Nnamdi Kanu have said. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu was concerned about reasoning. I don't know why God put that in his mind, because God knows that these kinds of times will come when people would not be able to reason. All they do is sing hallelujah around anybody who is coming to shout Biafra. Not anyone who says Lord, Lord, Lord is going to enter the kingdom, or is part of the Lord, or is called by the Lord, sorry. So if you think that anybody who's saying in the name of Jesus is called of God, then you are just in problem. The same thing, not everyone who's saying Biafra, we are getting Biafra, we are fighting for Biafra, is actually working for Biafra. Just know this: the enemies come like a sheep. It is scriptural too. You find all these things in scripture. Every good thing, there is a counterfeit somewhere. Somebody's trying to disguise and make it look like it's what they have is the truth. It's happened all over. The Roman Empire did it with Christianity. British Empire did it with Christianity. That is why today we find our people saying that Christianity is evil. They have to reject Christianity. If you go into scripture, you discover that Christianity is not evil. Christianity is God's program for redemption, which the British Empire tried to use as a tool of manipulation and colonization. That's the problem. So the problem is not Christianity. The problem is you, of the people who have allowed themselves and who are gullible. Because you can't deny the power of God in the saving grace of Christ. If you do that, you are in trouble. So those of you who are clamoring that let's go back to our root, your root anyways also was corrupted by some people who sold your grandparents or great-grandparents to the slave masters. So every kind of worship to God is always corrupted. The program of Christ was part of the program that we also had in our land, which God now sends his son, and now begin to send all over the nations of the world. Now this work of worshiping me, I have brought someone who stands in your place to take your sins, and who has taken your sins, so that whatever you do, I will not lay it against you, because my son, or the Christ, has redeemed you, and now you are part of me under the narrative of my righteousness, not under the narrative of what you can do right as a human being, but under the fact that I am God and my righteousness is what keeps you safe, and my grace is sufficient for you. That's what Christ came to do. So it does not condemn our worship to God locally and all of that. It does not condemn the fact that we can break collars, do some things that we do to worship God. We must recognize that in this whole thing, that Christ is is God, in us, in our midst, and of course ordained by God for the program of our redemption. And so whatever we're doing, we should acknowledge Christ and make sure that what we're doing, it does not contradict the plan of God for our lives and not used against the people. Now let's go into the discussion. Now I appeal to you. I told you keep your emotion, and then I now told you some things. I made analysis of the Ibrahim Akil, who was killed by Israel. I made analysis of Samson and Delilah. I made analysis of Christ himself, who was betrayed by Judas Iscariot. Anytime there's a bounty or there's a target against someone by some people and there's a bounty set, the bounty is meant to favor someone who is close to the person who is the target. That is how it works. So when you find a bounty, the first suspects you should have about who might betray the target is the people or are the people around him. Every one of them at that point in time becomes a suspect. Now, do you think that Ibrahim Akil was killed just in isolation? No. Ibrahim Akil was killed because somebody within sold into the Israeli narrative and accepted to get the bounty, the millions of dollars they have put on the head of Ibrahim Akil, and decided that, wow, this money is huge, I must get it, so I must leak the secret. Someone within sold out, gave information that he was in that building under the earth or underground, even if it's a residential building where other people are. Some of them might not even know that he's underground there. Some of them might know, but they became victims of being part of a system that is deadly and evil. And so everybody dies in that particular situation because somebody who is evil is under them and carrying out a plan. And somebody who is close there revealed the secret of the person who is there, who is the target. So when you find a particular narrative of a plan, and that plan is leaked. Now look at what happened in Israel. When the Assyrians were planning, they were plotting so many things. Suddenly, Israel, the king of Israel, Ahab, and other people would get information, and before you know it, they will not be where they are supposed to be according to the plan, because somebody was giving information from Israel's side to the Assyrians, making them understand how the king is moving, what the king wants to do, where he's going, and all of that. And then also somebody was within Israel that was actually helping the king to understand that these people have information that where you're coming, where you're going, what you want to do, so change tactics. So when the king of Assyria, I think I've forgotten his name now, is it Ben-Hadad or somebody else? I don't know whether it's the time of Ben-Hadad or somebody else. When the king of Assyria goes to execute his plan against the king of Israel, he discovers that he doesn't find the man there, or he doesn't find that the arrangement as it was, and he began to wonder. When he is doing his own thing, he discovers that the Israelis have information about anybody. The first thing he did was he accused the people around him. He said, "Who amongst you here is giving my secret to the king of Israel?" Somebody within my cabinet is giving secret, because no outsider can do that. And somebody said, "No, my lord, none of us here, we are loyal to you. None of us are giving this information. It is one man called Elijah. He is a prophet. He sees, God reveals things to him. So you, even to what you do in your bedroom." The Assyrian king was perplexed. Now you see, so by normal or natural ways, or by approach, or by dictate, or by configuration, those who are around a person are always the first suspect for betrayal. So when the bounty was put on Mazi Nnamdi Kanu by the Nigeria contraption, by the politicians, by the British, by everyone who wants Mazi Nnamdi Kanu down, the first people whom should be suspected, whom we should suspect, are the people who we should suspect are the people around him, his brothers, those people on the platform of DOS, the people who knows his movement and his whereabouts, his secretary, and other people. Every one of them are the first prime suspects, because every bounty is a bait to any of them. No bounty will be given to an outsider unless that outsider has an information or has a link to somebody who is close to the target, and also has always link of getting information from that person. For instance, they can have a girlfriend. One of the people who are close to Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, a guy can have a girlfriend out there whom he tells everything. He discusses things he does with Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, the things, plans of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, how he goes out. Just like it happens right now in Simon's camp. there are people, some of them who relate with some of the people in DOS, who give information about what Simon is doing and how they are doing and how they are stealing and how they are using their men to steal and to rob the people, how they are killing, how they are going into robbery and kidnapping. Somebody in there gives the information. We get all this information from people around him, because they discuss, and because they are loose, they come out to discuss with people, who give the information. They discuss with people who also we are connected to, so we get information from them. So also on the side of the DOS, they have their people there who are also giving information to Simon's group, and also who discuss. And some of these people whom they're giving this information to don't belong to any camp, but they are outsiders. But because they are emotionally attached to these people, whether because they have been toasting them online, so they want them to have them as girlfriends or boyfriends, they keep telling them every secret. And these people also give us information. We get the information from them, directly or indirectly. So we know the things that are being discussed and the things that are being done from third party who are connected to the people who are close to these people. That's why we can come out and tell you these people are criminals. That's why we can come out and tell you that this and this is happening. Now let me tell you what is happening around Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. The betrayal was the plan. Our original plan was to kill Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Let me state it to you now. Let you understand this very clearly, so that you can know that your jumping around people should be curtailed by your common sense. Because most of you now, all you do is jump around people when they talk on Radio Biafra. Oh, you take it and share. You don't care. Hey, we are here. We're working. DOS is wise. We are doing this. Every one of them on the platform of DOS right now are suspects, because Nigeria government cannot penetrate Mazi Nnamdi Kanu without one of them or two of them being part of the plan. One, two, or three of them were part of the plan in partnering with the local politicians and the businessmen or some of the traditional leaders in Biafra land. The Nigeria government contracts these people. They contract these people who are. The Nigeria government contracts these local politicians or the local businessmen or the traditional leaders. These ones now contract the IPOB because some of them are close to them and they are under their local government, or they have relationship with them, or they have a connection through to them, or part of the IPOB family and all of that. And those ones now negotiate and discuss, and they discuss the money. They saw it lucrative, saw an opportunity for them to also control IPOB. They now succumb. Everyone on the DOS now, everyone in Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's family now is a prime suspect to either directly connecting with the politicians to make money and selling Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, or connecting with a third party or someone who becomes the middleman between them and the Nigeria contraption or the local politicians. So what the plan was this, the arrangement was this: we are going to give you the platform to lead IPOB, but you are going to lead IPOB under our terms, which means you are going to be under our payroll. Now, when you lead IPOB, you'll be operating the way the criminal, just like that's the template the criminal in Finland is using now. Through Ngozi Orabwezi and other people, they have been able to run deals with the Nigeria government. They get monies, so you pretend and do as if they are fighting for you, and they make money from all of that, including the ones they are making from you who are gullible. And then all they need to do is keep hyping the people on the issue of giving them false hope of things that are happening and things that they are doing. And so the template is the same, which Simon saw, or the criminal in Finland saw, which he saw with the DOS. Because let me tell you something. Initially, Simon was brought into the team. Some of you don't know this. The criminal in Finland was brought into the team to also discuss on the new arrangement. The plan is Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is now off. It's now out of the picture, because every one of them believed his fate was death. He's not going to survive it. They know, but according to the agreements, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu must be killed. But somehow behind the scene, they discovered that it might backfire. It's God that did it. But the truth about it is that till now they are keeping him. I'll get there. So now the plan is those ones who betrayed Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, including the criminal in Finland who later they brought into the system and discovered that is why he knows so much about them and they know so much about him. And whenever they are discussing, if you observe what they do, they are talking on the surface. They are always talking about this one wants to take my platform, this one wants to do this. They said if I must talk on Radio Biafra, then it must be on, on this, I must submit my platform and all of that. It was about who now becomes the leader, who now controls the narrative. Why not we all come under us, because we are the ones who are originally there. So this new arrangement will have you under us. That was what the DOS was saying. This new arrangement will have you, Simon, under us. Simon says no. He saw it as an opportunity since Ejiofor has come with a note that according to Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, he should broadcast on Radio Biafra. It simply means that automatically he is saying he's going to stand in the place of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, and that is an opportunity for him to control everything. So he was looking on his own side of his own expectation and his own agenda. The DOS also were looking at how they can now subject themselves under Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, under Simon, when they are the ones actually in control of IPOB. So they didn't see it as a good arrangement for them to be under the control of IPOB. Under the control of Simon. Now Simon controlling the whole of IPOB by being the main broadcaster and talk and speaker, just like Mazi Nnamdi Kanu was the main speaker and broadcaster. So they didn't want to be under Simon, and also Simon also don't want to be under them, because he feels that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu has given him a privilege to stay on his position. And then the DOS feels threatened, because the first reason why they removed Mazi Nnamdi Kanu was for them to control the system. If Simon now takes this position, it's going to threaten them. Along the line, Simon would be so strong and would overrun them. So this became the tussle, not because Simon saw them as criminals and he cannot work with them, but Simon knew they were criminals, and all of them knew they were all criminals, and they knew the new program and the plan. The new program and the plan is that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu will not be available, so they would now have to constitute the new leadership of IPOB, and somehow Simon would overshadow them and take over, and they don't want that, because originally they allowed themselves to go into the plan or the agreement of selling Mazi Nnamdi Kanu based on the promise and the plan that they were going to control IPOB by themselves. So that was how their relationship broke, and Simon capitalized on that to always use his platform to buy sentiment or buy the emotion of the people and let them understand that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu said this and they don't want him to broadcast. They were telling him to submit his platform. They were telling him to submit his platform because they know that once he gets on the platform of broadcasting, he's going to use that as a means of hijacking everything. So they wanted to control him even if he is broadcasting, because the plan is that they all will constitute that leadership, but Chike Doziem will remain as the leader and Chinansa will remain as the head of government. That means controlling Chike Doziem and controlling everybody, because that is what is happening right now. Chike Doziem is just there as the figurehead president, just like Nnamdi Azikiwe was then, and then Tafawa Balewa was the one who is actually the one who is controlling the government and the one who has the power. So they had this plan and they didn't want it destroyed at all. They didn't want the system to crumble on their own heads. So everybody having their own agenda, knowing that the new plan is that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Well, now ask yourself this question: why do they do their things with impunity right now? Why do you think Simon is doing his things with impunity? Tell you he has banned IPOB. Tell you that IPOB is now a criminal organization. Tell you that now it is his government in exile that is in control. There's nothing like IPOB. Tell you that he is now the prime minister. They all believe Mazi Nnamdi Kanu will not be out. That was the original plan. In fact, let me tell you what is happening right now. Everyone knows that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is not fine. He's sick. And the Nigeria contraption is keeping Mazi Nnamdi Kanu there, not because they want to keep Mazi Nnamdi Kanu there. They are working with the local people, both the ones who betrayed Simon and others, to make sure that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is killed slowly, because he's not supposed to survive and come back to the picture. Because if he comes back to the picture, these shenanigans will end. All the deceit will end. He will go back to the template. The template will continue and it will be a threat to Nigeria. So they keep lobbying with the people under Simon's platform, under some of the people on the DOS, to make sure that they continue to preach to the people as if it is still the mandate of freedom, but making them understand that IPOB is a group, a peaceful organization in quotes. What they mean peaceful, you don't take action against anything that is against you. Whether they kill you, don't take action. Anything done to you, don't take action. We are peaceful. That is not what peace means. Now, when I started this broadcast, I brought the first quote of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Any day you hear that I have been arrested, burn Nigeria down. What that means is crumble the structure of Nigeria. Make Nigeria ungovernable. Make sure that you break the fabric and the economic power and put everything down so that Nigeria will be brought under his feet. And then that is, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu was saying that from the secret that, or from the knowledge of what happened in his first arrest. Remember, in his first arrest, the men then, what they call them now, the Niger Delta group, the Niger Delta militant force, anyways. I've forgotten MEND, the full meaning of MEND, I can't remember now. What they did was they began to crumble the oil facilities, the economy of Nigeria, to the point that they said if Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is not released, they would continue to crumble. And that was why Nigeria Contraption came to the negotiation table to discuss and make sure Mazi Nnamdi Kanu was released, because the only way you can get them to respond is to crumble them economically, because they need money to run their criminal organization called Nigeria. That was what Mazi Nnamdi Kanu was talking about. Burn Nigeria down. That means crumble it, bring it to its knees. Because from the first arrest I had, that was what men did. That was what the Niger Delta Avengers also did and freed me. So what you need to do is adopt that plan and template. That is if he is arrested. Now look at it. Let's go deeper. This time he is not arrested. He is kidnapped and extraordinarily renditioned, which is more grievous and terrible and humiliation to any group organization. It is just like what happened to Hezbollah on Thursday or so. Is it on the 18th or 19th of September? When their pagers, was compromised and everything started exploding. People were dying. Over 40 people dead, thousands injured. Some of them had their penis blown up. Their penis cannot function again for life. Some of them had their eyes blown off, their hands blown off. Brutal situation. Now, what happened to Mazi Nnamdi Kanu was an illegal thing. He was kidnapped and extraordinarily renditioned, extra legal action against him, which is illegal, an international criminal act, an international criminal act. Now, if Mazi Nnamdi Kanu could say that when he is arrested, we should crumble Nigeria, what then do you think should be done when he is kidnapped, which is worse than him being arrested? It simply means that in crumbling Nigeria, bringing it down by economically destroying its fabric of operation, we should also make sure that the people behind it, his kidnap, are brought to justice. And how do we do that? We must constitute a committee, a fact-finding committee. If every Biafran will start talking and saying this with me now, constitute a fact-finding committee to know what happened to Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Because the only way you can stop this madness of him being held down there is to reveal or to expose those who were behind him getting into that place in the first place. Because those who were responsible for getting him in there are the ones still responsible for keeping him in there. So if you think Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is in there because the Buhari and the Tinubu's government is keeping him. You are deceiving yourself. He is in there because the Tinubu's government is still consulting with the people whose action, who were part of putting him in there. They are the ones who are still giving the government the strength and the ego. Keep him. Let's keep killing him slowly. He'll be falling sick. He'll be on his own. Let him die naturally. Or let's wait till when he's almost going to die. We'll release him. And then he will come out and not live long, and then he's going to die. This is the plan. That is why Chikedozium would come and tell you that, Chinasa will come and tell you that Chikedozium is the leader of DOS. And that is why every of their discussions and everything they do is centered around themselves and around everything. That is why Simon will come and tell you he is the prime minister, because he knows that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu will not come. When Mazi Nnamdi Kanu comes, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu will not accept this nonsense. So to him, the arrangement for Mazi Nnamdi Kanu to be dead is already there. So leave all these dancing around, all this jamboree, and we are fighting because we are doing this unless you release Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, or unless all of these things are just jamborees. Leave all this media hype, all these things he's claiming he's doing. He's doing this, he's destroying this, he has destroyed more tanks, he has done this, all of this stuff are just jamborees to get you excited and to keep you comfortable, dancing around him, and the regime would pass his 8 years, another one will come and the narrative will begin again, he will start another jamboree. These are all deceit mechanisms, and every one of you must understand this. So I am taking you through this process so that you can understand the details of this whole thing. Now, like I was saying, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu said, burn down Nigeria if I am arrested. Now he is kidnapped. What are we supposed to do? Are we supposed to be giving ourselves titles? Are we supposed to be talking about who is the next leader? Sorry? Is that what we're supposed to be talking about? No. Now let me tell you this. As soon as Mazi Nnamdi Kanu was kidnapped, the arrangement or the thoughts was that he was gone. And so when the secretary came and said, Kanunta said that she shouldn't say anything about it, Chikedozium also came and said that the secretary said, when he was asking about, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu and his whereabouts, the secretary said that Kanunta told her not to tell anybody and to tell people that he is on the mountain praying. And then later, about 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago, Chikedozium came and started giving his own account because he heard that Emmanuel Kanu also was going around Germany also to talk about some things which were some facts on the ground that he felt that some exposing would be done. So he needed to come on the Radio Biafra to be quick to talk and say some things so that people can use what he says to counter Emmanuel Kanu on whatever he's going to say. Now remember, I told you that including Emmanuel Kanu, every one of them are suspects, including Kanunta Kanu. Because for anybody to say, to tell the secretary not to say anything about the kidnap of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, that person is a prime suspect, no matter how you look at it. For anybody to come on social media and say that the planned sit-at-home should be cancelled because of Anambra election and because exams are being held in 2021, that person is a prime suspect. Because things should not have remained normal as soon as the leader of Biafra nation was kidnapped. Do you know what it means? Do you know what it means to kidnap the head of a nation, the leader of a nation? This is someone who is the leader of Biafra land, whether you like it or not. Forget about the governors and all of that. They are only the stooges of the British. This is the leader of Biafra, not the leader under Nigeria. For that kind of thing to happen to him, I'm talking to people who are reasoning now, who have decided to drop sentiments. For that kind of thing to happen to Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, by now, the anger in everyone would have yielded result. 2, from the moment it happened, the first question that reasonable people will ask, who are those behind this? Because by common sense and by history, before you get anybody within who is a leader, there is someone within who has sold out. There's someone. So the first thing that will prove that people around him are innocent, or to prove to the people or the followers that they are innocent, was to have set up the fact-finding committee that the leader of Biafra nation has been kidnapped. And it should be sounding as an alarm. How did he get into the hands of the enemies to the point that he is now in the dungeon in Abuja, Asokoro area there, DSS headquarters, locked up for 3 years, 4 months? The first question that would have happened, all things being equal, the first question that would have been asked by everybody, if you had not allowed yourselves to be tossed here and there, the first question you should be asking yourself now, why are you guys bent on talking about yourselves, giving yourselves positions and titles and claiming to be fighting for the people? Why are you guys not doing the first thing for the purpose of the one you claim you love? Setting up a fact-finding committee that would reveal those behind where Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is. When you reveal those behind where Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is, you will destroy the chain that is keeping him in there. Because the link that is keeping him in there is that is connected to those people who were responsible for getting him in there, and that link is being funded and fueled by the British through the Nigeria government. And so as long as that link continues, the people who kept him in there will keep making you feel good and comfortable, because their plans and their actions is still hidden. And they will keep making you feel good and continue to deceive you and make you feel like something is going to happen, and some from the blues, Biafra would come, and they will keep still making you believe that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu will be out, whereas they are killing him gradually until their mission is completed. And then they will now, after that, they will now do some movement. Hey, we hear that this has happened to Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Why would this happen to him? They will now do some shaking for 3 or 1 week, and everything will subside. They say now we have to, at least we have to move ahead. We know that this has happened, but it's unfortunate. Let's move ahead. And then by then you would have been manipulated and deceived. And then they will now constitute another leadership. This is now our leader. This is the vice. This is this. This is the finance minister. This is this. This is the original plan. That is why Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is still there, because the people who are part of putting him there are petting you. You don't know them yet. You can't continue to believe in the DOS or the criminal in Finland or any other group when Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is still there and nobody is talking about getting to know who is responsible for putting him there, because the person or people responsible must be within the DOS, be within IPOB, or be within the criminal in Finland and all their team, all the other teams. The people responsible must be within. So for us to trust the DOS or any other person, we must fish out those who are responsible. And how do you fish them out? You must constitute a fact-finding committee. This is not too much to ask for. This is not what, oh my God. All the funds being collected since Mazi Nnamdi Kanu was kidnapped, where are they? Ask yourself a question. Where are the monies? Monthly levies collected from the people in Biafra land every month, including the taxing of them. They want to buy a van, they want to buy this, they want to buy a bullet, they want to buy that. Contribute money. They tax them. We want to repair Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's house. We want to do this. They are taxing. We have the lawyers. We have to give them money. They are taxing the people. Ask them what is the benefit of the money. If the resources have been contributed to say we want to set up a committee and fund them to work to give us the details of those people who are responsible, then we now take those people out. Then we know that we have cleansed the house. And then you can trust whoever is there now to work well by watching them, not just trusting them and following them like zombies, but by watching them and making sure they are accountable. Why? Is this too big to do or to understand? Let me stop here for now. I'm going to still take you deeper, because I said when I begin to say the things I'm going to say, I want you to keep your emotion aside and your loyalty aside. Think straight with me so that we can do the right thing. Because now, what should be trending is set a fact-finding committee. MNK kidnap. Set a fact-finding committee. That is what should be trending. And I'll try to get a hashtag to this and I'll start trending it. And you should join me. Let's trend it. Because we can't have people sit somewhere deceiving everybody. You just say DOS. You don't know who are the people there. You don't know their hearts. You don't know who is responsible. You don't know who amongst them has been part of selling Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. You just say DOS. DOS are wise. DOS are this. For the inside the DOS are human beings. We need to fetch out, sieve that group, bring out the people who kidnapped Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. And it can only be done through a fact-finding committee. Is it too much to understand? This is how professionals do their thing. Your loyalty to anybody now is vague. As long as Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is still there. Some people are keeping him there. And their plan is to kill him gradually. People have been hearing that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is sick. They're killing him gradually. Recently, the wife returned with the son. They want him to see the son. They're killing him gradually. And we're all here waiting until we hear the news that he is dead, and then we'll now begin to scream and waiting for the same people who killed him to act. And then they do 1-2 actions to deceive you that they are angry, and then later they will tell you, let's come together, it is time now to move ahead. And now that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is dead, he said if he dies, Biafra will come quicker if he dies. So now he is dead, let's go and get Biafra. What do you mean? You don't know that when great people talk, people use them as manipulation. Look at all that Christ said in scripture. Look at how people are using it to manipulate people everywhere, to collect monies from them. I want to stop here because of time. I didn't know I was going to go this long. I just want to appreciate you. Please, as I said initially when I began, like this video, please. Like it, because we need to spread the gospel of truth. Also, please, post your comments. I want to know how your mind is working, and other people also want to read your thoughts, so that we can react to your comments. We can also lay our comments based on your perspective, and also subscribe to this channel if you have not. Very, very important that you subscribe to the channel if you have not. Very important, because we have to spread the gospel of truth. This is Truth Channel Network, TCN, and my name is Kelechi Ambrose, and I will always be on the path of truth. Stand for the gospel of truth, and that is what I represent, and that's what I stand for, and that is what we have to do. I appreciate you guys. Enjoy your morning, your afternoon, your evening, your night, wherever you are based on your time. I also say, please stay safe, and please, let's come together and do the right thing and be reasonable. Thank you so much all. I love you all, and God bless you real good.
Kelechi omema nanegi isuke